I was reminded this week, one of the guest speakers in one of my courses was talking about engineering leadership, and he talked about the importance of being both curious and humble to be an effective leader. And I really resonated when I came here, and it's a great opportunity to be with so many folks who are both curious and humble in what they've accomplished, but looking forward to more. So I'm going to be speaking about online degree programs. My experience is that I've been at University of Wisconsin-Madison since '91. In '98, I was asked to take over the creation of our first online degree program. And at this point, we have 7 current degree programs. So these are graduate master degree programs that are designed for practicing professionals. All these students are mid-career engineers, typically 30 to 50 years in age. But that's one unique thing about the student body I'm working with. 2 engineering degrees are currently developing, or one in environmental engineering and one in applied computing and engineering data analytics. The first degree that we developed was our engineering management degree. That's been functioning since '98 and now has over 400 graduates. So all these students are mid-career engineers. And another unique thing about the design of these programs is that they're all based on project and problem-based learning. We get away from streamed lectures, and I'll say a bit more about that in a minute. When we talk about online education, the question is, what do you want to achieve with online education? Too often, institutions jump to saying we want to get into online learning, but really not being clear about what the goal is. So it's important to look at what the needs are and opportunities, and then today we're addressing the constraints. So online education is a means to a goal, but it's not the end in itself. And it's important that we, as engineering faculty, really create a vision within our institutions for online learning that is a vision and not just turning a crank. What I see typically happening in a university that wants to get into online education, often it's administrators thinking about increasing an institution's revenues. And typically faculty want a model that's not going to require much more work, not really changing things from what they're currently doing. And the goal is to have online courses be at least as good as what's happening on campus. The result, it's lecture capture. Put a digital camera in a classroom, create what I call a digital peephole into an online classroom. We get more of the same. Well, what's wrong with that? Well, I'm reminded, I was at a really interesting conference at Stanford this summer, and John Hennessy, the president, said, he said the large lecture hall is dead. That is, we're proven it in engineering education, it's just not the way to go. And so if we're saying on campus that's not the way to go, why do we think just doing more of that using online means it gets us anywhere? It just gets us folks who are falling asleep listening to those stream lectures. So it really gets back to what does online learning mean to you? Often the place that folks start is just by taking their in-classroom resources and digitizing them. That's one model. What I see a lot more of is this model, which sees online education as a big pipe, and it's a one-way pipe, and all we're going to do is stream as much as we can at the person at the end, and it's up to them to catch as much of that as they can. But it doesn't really provide any meaningful personal engagement, student to student or student to instructor. So what I think is an important model for online learning is to use technology to create a truly collaborative learning space that's collaborative, that's engaging person to person, that deals with authentic problems, authentic solutions, and provides a new freedom in where learning happens, when it happens, and how it happens. So part of creating that new world is creating opportunities for learners with shared and unique needs and goals, engaging the best instructors for a course no matter where he or she happens to be in the world, engaging projects from anywhere, learning that really meets the needs and expectations of those globally distributed teams. We talked about that earlier, that the importance of teamwork that goes across the globe, and providing authentic learning that's immediately applicable, especially to these kind of adult learners who really want to learn how does this apply to my job today. An aha moment for me occurred a few years ago. We have a master's degree called the Master of Engineering in Engine Systems. What we found, we have a first-class engines research center at UW. And in doing some non-credit courses, we found that there are mechanical engineers that understand moving parts, electrical engineers that understand controls, chemical engineers who understand combustion, but there are very few engineers who can understand all of that as it relates to design of an internal combustion engine. So we designed a program from scratch that covers all the engineering and science related to internal combustion engines, and it enrolls folks who live and breathe engines across the world studying together in how to design engines. We had the person who teaches the engine project management course in that program, Brian Price, was the previous head powertrain engineer for Harley-Davidson. He now teaches in the UK. He teaches that course from us, from the UK. On a certain day, he happened to be in Russia, wasn't sure about his ability to be connected that day, asked me if I would moderate the class for him. The guest speaker was Dr. Tim Leverton, who led the design of this vehicle, which broke the world speed record for diesel-powered vehicles on Bonneville several years ago. And over the course of an hour, Dr. Leverton from the UK was getting these engineers who live and breathe engines from across the world inside his vehicle, talking about the challenges of leading this team over a 9-month period to design, build, test this car. Brian is in Russia, Tim Leverton's in the UK, I'm in Madison. And at the end of that hour, I said to myself, you know, the next time someone says to me, is the hour in your class as good as what happens on campus? I want to tell them to go view the video of this hour that we just spent picking apart this car and the value of the learning that those students had. I asked some of the instructors in our online programs, what would be most important to share with someone who's just getting into online learning? What would be some of the most important things you would share with them? They talked, first of all, about the importance of maintaining a meaningful online presence. An online classroom is not about just setting up some automated learning system, but at the graduate level, it's creating meaningful, authentic engagement, instructor to a student. It's about timely responses to students' questions. Someone else just mentioned that, the importance of very timely and responsive answers. Personal attention and engagement. It's not just, automation really helps to do some of the things that can be accommodated by automation, but at the graduate level, it really is important to faculty to student engagement. Formats that reinforce each other. So in our classes, we have both asynchronous elements like discussion forums, but also every class has a 1-hour live web conference every week. And that really facilitates very meaningful interaction between students and professors. Thoughtfully and creatively mixing and tailoring those formats, understanding the right structure between mixing, as they say, asynchronous and synchronous, and then taking the extra care and thoroughness for defining requirements, directions, and assignments. These are folks who are working full-time, which in the engineering world usually means about 60 hours a week. And when they're working on a problem at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, the last thing they want is ambiguous instruction. So you really got to be clear on helping them understand what's needed. Some factors that do limit the success of online degree programs that I see are, the biggest limit I deal with is faculty bandwidth. We're all very, very busy, and so the time that's used really has to be used very well. Our biggest limitation in developing new degree programs is getting a core of faculty who are willing to get on that boat together and saying, we're going to make this work. If I've got that core that says we believe in this program, we're committed to it, then I know we can make it work. The willingness of faculty to adapt what's taught and how it's taught. This is especially important with mid-career practicing engineers. Their needs really are different than someone 22, 23 years old. They want to also be engaged as colleagues and as peers and not just as students on campus. It's the commitment by universities to adapt services. This is a big one where, you know, in our on-campus world, it's going to this building or that building, talk to this person, that person. In an online environment, you really need an ombudsman who is really going to take needs of students and make the hassles of dealing with administrative stuff on campus go away. What I also see a lot of times is universities build degree programs with a build they will come approach. The reality is, if you want to build a program and get the best students, you really have to have a very intentional and strategic marketing and recruitment plan to getting those students. Faculty compensation issues, this is a big one. Being able to pay faculty for the effort it takes to develop a course, to teach the course, and there are lots of different ways. So in every program that we develop, it's a negotiation process between the faculty, the department, and our group. All these can be tackled with focus and commitment. So a couple things I will just end with is it's important to look at the move to online as a way to actually build some synergy to transform the way education is done on your campus. It's not just repeating more of the same. It's deciding really to make the needs of those students your driver in how you design the program. I can't emphasize enough the importance of getting experienced instructional designers involved in a team effort with faculty, building effective community in all of your courses, integrating learning and practice, and building richer and deeper connections between what's being taught and the research that's being conducted. Here I would just emphasize the importance of alignment of your degree programs with where your university is going. I will say that degree programs that are more than a bundle of courses, what I often see in the online world is just putting a lot of courses out there and calling a degree program just a bundle of courses. There's a fundamental difference between that and an integrated program where courses are intentionally integrated, where there's a carryover from course to course to developing a truly integrated curriculum. All of this requires a win-win-win approach in all of your partnerships. All of it's doable, but it is challenging. Anybody who would like to talk further, I'd be glad to do that afterwards. Thank you.